And I touched on this point before, and I want to get into a little bit more detail now. And for this, I am indebted to a very fine book written by an old friend of mine called Arianna Huffington. And the title of a book, and I know why she did it, it's called Third World America, Third World America. And she used that word because basically the theme of her book is if we do not get our act together in terms of infrastructure, in terms of education, in terms of health care, that's where we are heading. We are heading. This great country is heading in the direction of being a third world nation. And she has an interesting chapter which deals just with one very important part of what's going on in America, and that is the crumbling of our infrastructure. And she writes, from 1980 to 2005, the miles traveled by automobiles increased 94%. For trucks, mileage increased 105%. Yet there was only a 3.5% increase in highway lane miles. More and more cars, more and more traveling. We're not building roads. But you don't, she writes, you don't need these numbers to know that our roads are badly congested. Anybody who lives around here in Washington, D.C. knows that our roads are congested. It takes you hours to get to work on sometimes. You see it and experience it every day. According to the American Society of Civil Engineers Infrastructure Report Card, quote, this is an interesting point, and this is where we should be investing, not tax breaks for the rich. Americans spend 4.2 billion hours a year stuck in traffic. Think about that. 4.2 billion hours a year stuck in traffic at a cost of $78 billion a year. And think about all of the pollution, all of the greenhouse gas emissions, all of the frustration, all of the anxiety, all of the road rage. People are stuck in roads because our transportation system is totally inadequate. Our roads, our public transportation. Then she talks about an interesting point as well. In studying automobile accidents, when we talk about automobile accidents, what do we usually think? We think, well, somebody is driving recklessly, maybe they're drunk, and those are serious issues. But she writes, in studying car crashes across the country, the Transportation Construction Coalition determined that badly maintained or managed roads are responsible for $217 billion a year in car crashes, far more than the headline-grabbing alcohol-related accidents or speed-related pileups. In other words, if you want to know why we are seeing automobile crashes, the issue of bad roads is even more significant than drunk drivers or people who are reckless drivers. I can